Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Normal speaking voice. Test 1, 2, 3. Yelling. Not bad. The stream normally switches over at 6 o'clock, so I gotta schedule that. I'm putting in a new LED strip today, so in the future when you send commands that control the LED strip, which for some reason isn't lit up right now, I'll look at that in a second. When you do that, you'll be able to control both of them at the same time. So that's what I'm working on today. Channel 1969, Michael Mary says hi. Heck yeah. All right, cool, man. I got the microphone on because it's nothing. You can't hear any radio stuff right now because I don't have the antennas up because I did my show last night. And so the antennas are down and I have the trailer pulled in. And I thought before I get that all hooked up, all the radio blabber, I'm going to put some more of these LED lights in. But for the lights, Channel 1969 Michael Mary has been helping me a lot with typing in commands and stuff. And I'm having some trouble with YouTube specifically because the way the systems work on the streaming platforms, YouTube's, you have to use Google's API, so you have to make these web calls to to poll. Like I'm running a Python script, right? That polls YouTube and says, hey, has anybody sent any chat messages? And if they have, does it meet these criteria? And if it meets these criteria, do this action, right? That's the main gist of the whole thing, right? So, but Twitch is different because Twitch's chat is an IRC server, and IRC is a different kind of protocol. It's not using the web, and because it's not using the web, it's not using an API, and it's not using this like expensive infrastructure to do the chat messages. Okay. So, and I'll post I'll do it right now. In the Discord, I'm going to post a video that I did, and this automation stuff with typing in the commands and then the lights turn on. Here's what I was saying about the API. So I ran into a problem because in the YouTube stuff, if you keep polling it and saying, hey, has anybody send any chat messages, it costs a certain number of credits, if you will, and in order to not burn up all the credits, which I burned up the entire month's worth of credits in a single day, so that's obviously not going to work. And I wasn't hammering it or anything, but I can't have a thing where like somebody types in a command to like change the lights to a color, and then they wait from a whole minute for the chatbot to ingest the message, and then another like 20 or 30 seconds like that already exists. Like me talking to you right now, if I was listening to it back on my speakers, there's a delay of like 20 or 30 seconds. So like there's already that with the technology. There's already going to be a delay. There's already a delay on Twitch. You're always seeing me slightly in the past, which for something that's interactive is always problematic. And so on top of that, to add another delay, which is the frequency of the polling of getting batches of chat messages in order to process them, from your point of view, is like the worst thing I could do. And as a person who's trying to build something that's entertaining for you and for me, okay, it's no secret that I'm my biggest fan of my thing. Like that, I made this so I can fuck around with it. I made it so I can listen to the radio, right? So thank you for joining me on this journey. I mean, I'm the one that's alive inside this thing, and like there's a festival coming up, and I'll be living in this for a week. So I didn't. It would be a lie to say that I built this precisely for an online audience, right? I mean, I'm physically in here. I built it for me. But I'm building things also that make it cool for you guys, hopefully, because I don't want to be Mr. like live streamer guy and like think about what kind of content I'm going to make all the time, and just inundate you with bullshit, so I can meet some quota and keep my numbers up, because you guys, and you know, when I say you guys, I mean like a YouTube audience or algorithm expects some amount of content or whatever. So what I'm saying is, I want to have something that's like really cool and like fun to interact with. So I can't just be like, oh, it doesn't really matter, and like, you know, ha ha ha, it's just an amateur project. So like, it's kind of funny that it takes like 2 minutes between when you type something in and you just sit there and just wait, and I just waste your time. Like, no, that's dumb, right? I'm not gonna do that. So I'm trying to like speed all the processes up. And this video I took of Twitch integration works really, really, really well. And let's see, I'll put it in the Discord right now because I'll forget if I don't. Let's see, can I post it? I tried to post a video before and it was too long. And I'm going to say I'm talking about this right now on YouTube. Okay, there you go. So it's like an ad. Okay. The Twitch stuff works really well, and there's still like the 20-second delay or whatever because it's streaming. But it works really quick, and because it's an IRC server, which is older technology, this is like pre-web internet technology actually. It doesn't require all this cloud infrastructure, if you will, to maintain it, and so there's not like a cost involved in receiving IRC messages. This is one of the ways, and I'll tell you this as a guy that works in the information security world, that this is all the web stuff and the APIs and everything are like, you know, they're very useful functionally, but the way they operate inside these layers of abstraction and the web stuff it's a put on. it's all these layers of extra stuff that are middlemen doing things, and like the core functionality of the internet nowadays is not really much different on a fundamental level than it was back in like the 1990s. And so all of this, that's even this trailer with this radio stuff, and I communicate around the world, and we use data, and we send and vibrate the electrons of the ether of the atmosphere using the technology that predated the internet, that the internet things like email were patterned off of. Those things still exist, and the entire infrastructure of like, oh my god, I need this thing so I can like communicate with people and send an email is a put on. Okay? And it's not like conspiracy theory or anything. It's like I'm showing you right here by some of you who've been around for a while and used to see my earlier streams when I did the data, and I'm going to put this back up eventually, but I would show a world map, and I would show all the contacts I was making around the world, right? Inside this box that runs off of a battery that has 2 painter's poles from Home Depot pushed up with speaker wire, right? And when I started it, the little radio that I was using was this big and cost like $100. And there's no contract, there's no service fee, there's no company, there's no, like, that's not a thing. That's, they built the wires and they laid the fiber optic and all that, and so you're on their network because you're sending your electrons over their medium. But like, the freaking atmosphere exists, and that's what we're using, and the atmosphere is like the air, it's free. Anyway, that's my rant about that. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, so IRC is the same way. Data-wise, IRC is nothing. It's text and a little bit of overhead. It's nothing like what this video is consuming. And so like there's like not really a cost involved. And so Twitch doesn't have any kind of limitations like YouTube does through Google's API service. And so that's the roadblock I ran into, is that although I have, like I just topped over 1,000 subscribers on here, which is awesome, because I don't care about giant numbers, but like 1,000 is really cool, and realistic, right? On Twitch, I haven't been doing anything regularly on Twitch, so like, there's like, I have 2 or 3 followers that are friends of mine, but it really seems like what's going to happen going forward, my plan is here's the main difference in the architectures and why my plan is going this way. If you send a chat message into YouTube, then it sits there in a record that YouTube keeps in a database of these chats have happened. And then I have to run a program to query and say, are there any new messages? Are there any new messages? And each time I do that, it like costs me money. And it's like, and I have an allowance of how much money I can spend. And so there has to be, and programmatically, there is some kind of polling mechanism that's like, every second, every 20 milliseconds, every 10 seconds, whatever, reach out and grab this new information. On Twitch, because it's an IRC server, I have an established connection with the server, and the millisecond, I'm exaggerating, but the millisecond that you send a message, it appears on my side, because it has nothing to do with this streaming. It has nothing to do with me polling it. As soon as you send it, I receive it through the magic of the internet, right? And that its data travels at, approximately the speed of light. So this fantastical box that I'm in receives your message immediately. So that's the best route for that. And on top of that, because it receives the messages directly, what that means is I don't write a thing that polls and that has to be like a watchdog and like receives batches of things, because that's another issue. If I'm polling every second and 3 people in 1 second have sent requests, then I have to either rapid fire through those before I do the next thing, the next time I poll for a second, and maybe 3 more people have done something, or I'm able to receive things instantaneously, and then maybe I have a queuing system. I've been working through all the details of that, of how I'm going to accomplish that. I don't want to when I like to be thinking self-aggrandizing thoughts about myself and what my unique mission in life is, I like to believe that I am one of the few people making content, if you will, or anything for this medium, this worldwide medium that we're all on right now, who will tell you what their entire plan is, especially around things like monetization, right? I'm talking about things that would cost you money right off the bat. Like I had an example today. I was like, this whole idea of like, the big thing is like collecting everybody, everybody's selling your personal information. So like these companies just want to collect your email address and blah, blah, right? So I was thinking like, oh, maybe I'll get some furniture for the living room. So like, is there like an app or something where you can like, put a virtual couch, and I don't care about it taking a picture of my room. It's just like, let me use like a generic thing that says I have a wall that's here and a wall that's here and it's this length, and then what a 10-person sectional couch is too big for my wall, right? That sort of stuff, right? I don't need like the augmented reality and all that necessarily. And so I Google, and it seems like one of the most popular apps is some app, I'm not here to mention the name, which appears to be free. And so I download the app, and then I go through the process, and then it's like, it's my giant pet peeve with anything where it's like immediately when it pops up, it's like, oh, you don't have an account, create an account. Okay, well, then the easiest way to do that is to log in with Google or whatever, and so it's like now they have my name and my email address, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I guess that's a cost of doing business with this, and it allows me to save my projects in the cloud, and there's no skip, And then the next step is like, to get customized, personalized, blah blah blah. Let's use I need to use your exact location and get your address, and I'm like, that's not necessary at all for any of this. And so I put in a fake address, and it never popped up asking for my location. But anyway, so what I'm talking about right now is the normal handshake that you are all familiar with when you download an app or you go through any, you get on Facebook the first time or anything like that. None of this is new, right? And so the next part isn't probably new either, but I'm presenting a motif. And then, so the next step is a pop-up thing. It's like, hey, okay, go ahead and, click this button. It'll start your free trial. It's 7 days. You'll totally get a warning before, you're charged for blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, where's the skip? I want to use the free features, I want to use the crippled version and see how it, what I can get out of it. I'm a hacker. I'll figure out some way to get it to do what I want, even if it's limited, but I can't get out of that screen. And so the only option is to like not start a free trial, which takes you to the thing, brings up the Apple Pay window to purchase a year of a product I've never used, I know nothing about, right? So I've had to create an account on their thing. I've had to divulge my information. And again, we're used to that being the customary thing. And then I'm presented with a paywall that like I immediately can't penetrate. And so it's useless to me. Like, why would I give you my money? It doesn't make any sense. Like, for this project I'm doing here, there's a protocol called MQTT, and it's used to send like data between devices and things. And there's a program for MQTT called Pushover, and what it does is like it allows my phone to subscribe to a feed, and then like I can get notifications about this. Like, for example, if somebody, like, one of the things I want to do is like make it so you can spend tokens or whatever bullshit thing it is, super chat equivalent, and like write something on the sign. Okay, well, I would instantly get a message as soon as that happens, and it's not a text message and it's not an email or anything. It's this protocol called MQTT. Well, it's a very useful program. It doesn't pop up any ads or anything. There's no subscription, and like they want you to pay like they give you like 30 days to use it with no limitations or anything. And then if you like it, it's like, I forget, I think it's like a $5 per device lifetime license, and I'm like, I'll gladly pay it because it's worth, like I might have even paid more, $5 per device if it was more than that. If it was $20 per device for a lifetime license, that would get expensive, right? But $5 is like throwaway money for a lifetime license, and I'm happy to pay them. So I'm not upset about paying for something that's useful, but like, demonstrate some value first, right? And so that's my thing with this, is I need to demonstrate value to you. And one of the ways I'm going to do that, again, being the person that tells you my whole scheme as I'm working through it, is I'm not doing this project primarily for the purpose of making money, but I'm not going to be stupid and not have ways to like monetize it. I'm not going to be dumb and like not have a tip jar out, right? So the way to like, and it costs me time and money and all this stuff to do it, and it'll probably never pay back what it cost me, and that's fine. That's not the point, is what I'm saying. But my way to balance those two things is to like give you things that are like fun to do on here, that like the way I'll monetize it, instead of using like YouTube's super chat system, or trying to get affiliated with Twitch and then like doing the bits and all that kind of stuff, is I'm just gonna have my own essentially token based system, and you can earn tokens by just being on here and hanging out and checking in, so just spending the time, or you can purchase tokens. And I want to make it so like the cost of doing anything is like so ridiculously small that like that is just stupid, because my brain is just dumb that way. It's like I've been looking and I see things where it's like if you contribute like or I watch like YouTube shows, and people will do like gifted memberships and stuff. So like that's a minimum, I think, of like $5, or somebody will give like 20 gifted memberships, which is like $100, and then the guys like do some like funny thing for like 10 seconds, and I'm like, holy crap, dude! Like, people are paying for that kind of exchange and that kind of feedback system. That's I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't want to subject you to thinking that like sending $100 in one shot to have me say something with your name in it would be valuable to you. You know, like I think I would be doing a disservice to do that to you. But if, you know, you did a funny thing and it cost you less than 10 cents or something, then like, who gives a crap? You know, it's like, it's it's like throwing a quarter into the wishing well. Like, who cares? So anyway, that's my thing, you know. Like, I was at my show last night and somebody came up and he was like, do you have a tip jar? And I was like, actually I don't, you know, and he handed me some cash. And then, like, in a way that's hard to explain, like, the amount of money that was versus the larger amount of money that I got paid for being there and performing. You know, like, it hits different, you know what I mean? And both parties are, you know, I wasn't like a generic venue I was at. I was at there's a kava place in Old Town Spring, and the lady that runs that is somebody who, like, brought me in there because she likes what I'm doing. So I wasn't like just like a generic person she was bringing in, and so I don't want to diminish the fact that she was paying me a certain amount of money because she is, you know, it's not a tip, but you know what I mean. She's showing her support in that way. So I don't want to diminish that. But what I'm saying is the personal nature of something, you know, even a small amount of money is a way for a person to say something that means something more, means something. And, like, you know, I'm talking about a couple dollars. So, like, if I had a tip jar out and, like, somebody, you know, through the course of a day, like, a couple dollars appeared in it, it would be, like, kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? And so it isn't about a million people and, like, you know, whatever. It's like I already made the sign. So, like, that work is done. It's not an investment. I don't need to charge a certain amount of money to get my ROI on it. But while I'm doing things to get this strip working, I might as well hook it up so you can write something and put it on the sign. You know, I mean, you see what I mean? That's how I see it. So, like, you know, but anyway, that's my plan with that, is like all the different things will, like, you know, you can, this is what I'm imagining, is there's some kind of mechanism, like you can, there'll be a bunch of stuff that you can do that's like free, and then a bunch of stuff that you can, like, pay for. And when I say pay for, it's like, you know, you're paying like a nickel or something to do something, you know, some ridiculous amount of money that you don't care about, because I don't want to, you know, I don't want to harm people by, like, sign up to the subscription, you know, like, before you even see the thing, you know. It's like that home design app was trying to trick me into, like, signing up for, like, whatever it was, you know, a $10 a month subscription that I will use the app and then forget about it, and then I'll get charged $10 or whatever, you know. And then all the stuff about, like, oh, I got my personal information and blah, 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 you know, like, that's what I don't want to do to people. And I don't want to show advertising. YouTube's going to do whatever they do with regard to advertising, but, like, I don't want to show it to you. And I don't want to read things from products. If I ever became popular enough where, like, some company came to me and said, like, you know, read this thing, I don't want to do that. So, like, I need to do something in some way. You know, and the other thing is, too, and I ran into a problem with YouTube and their copyright system, because I got it's not a strike, it's a warning on my channel for playing third-party content for playing music. And the music that I was playing was my music. And like, I went back and forth with them about it. And I'm like, I am the copyright holder. I'm playing my music on my official artist channel. This YouTube channel is an official artist channel. It's an official artist channel. Like, I got the little music note next to my name. So like, of all places, like, I'm playing songs in the background. I was playing like a radio station. I'm playing songs that exist already in my catalog on YouTube. But I still got a warning about it. And like, you know, I went back and forth with a person, an email that, you know, it's like, I'm like, you're not listening to me, man. I'm telling you, it's my music. Like, I know who it's distributed through. I understand how, not strikes, but there's, you can get copyright claims, which is fine. If I play third-party music that doesn't belong to me and they claim it, and they demonetize my video so they can send the copyright holder money because I used their music or something, that's fine. That's okay. That's how it's supposed to work. But they didn't do that for mine on my own channel. And I'm like, you're not getting it. And anyway, after going back and forth with them, like, wow, you know, we can't intervene in legal disputes. And I'm like, this isn't a legal dispute. And it wasn't a claim from my distributor. That's a whole different animal. I know how to take care of those. You know, that's part of doing business. That's what I'm saying. That's a normal thing. I post a video and use one of my songs on it. It gets claimed by the people who represent me on YouTube, and the video gets demonetized. I don't run a monetized channel. This is the big secret. I don't run a monetized channel, but if I play my own music, YouTube demonetizes the video that wasn't monetized and then pays the copyright holder for every view, and I'm the copyright holder. You see what I'm saying? Well, according to this, I'm talking to one person, so I think maybe it's just me on here. But that's a big secret that I don't think a lot of people know about. But unfortunately, when it's live like this, they have some other kind of system that, in addition to the content ID. And after going back and forth with them, I was kind of like, I was like, fuck these guys, man. Like if I'm not going to get this kind of support, and I'm not some big shot, like, I'm nobody important. So like, they don't have any interest in like helping me with like my dumb live stream when like literally thousands of people are like streaming all the time, millions of people or whatever. I understand that. So I'm like, I'm in a situation now where like I had to take training where I had to acknowledge things like, you know, if I'm not the copyright holder, then I can't put the content on the thing, you know, which, like, I know, and that wasn't what I was doing. And I took that training, and because I took that training until like November, because the warning lasts 90 days. If I do any of this live streaming now and use any of my music and risk that it may flag it inappropriately like it did before, then I'll get a copyright strike or a channel strike or whatever, you know, like a TOS thing or whatever bullshit. And if that happens, it's like you won't be able to stream for like 7 days or some kind of thing. And I'm like, okay. That means if my channel was popular and there were a bunch of people on this and they're having fun with the whole thing, then like I would get a strike on the channel, and I would like, the entire thing would go down, because YouTube, the machine of YouTube, is too dumb to know that playing your own music on your own channel is obviously okay. I could just have all that taken away because I'm like using somebody else's platform. So that's why the like tokenization or like the monetization stuff is going to be my own thing. And it's also why the streaming stuff, this is what I was talking about with Twitch and stuff. The streaming and stuff, eventually, as you're able to control these lights, in fact, actually, why is that bad? Something get unplugged. Sometimes when I drive the trailer, something gets unplugged. Or the lights on and set to black. Nope, I think that they're on. Is that right? There we go. So like the idea is you'll be able to control like the lights and stuff. You'll be able to control the sign, but then you'll also be able to control elements of the music. And my actually bigger goal with that, it's different than YouTube and everything. My larger goal is that during a live performance, during that set, I'll have elements in it where, by essentially putting money in the tip jar, you'll be able to do things that basically fuck with the performance. So you'll be able to, you know, change, like even radically change the way the music's playing or something like that. And kind of the fun of it is that I won't know that it's going to happen. So it introduces, for me, the performer, a lot of chaos into it. And it's actually very, for lack of a better word, it's very unsafe for me to do that. Right? To like kind of democratize it in that way. I know the way I believe that most people would do it. If you were watching like a commercial artist do it, like a big name band or something, and you were like part of an audience that was doing something, like they would probably let you vote on something, which is also something I'm going to do. But they would probably like let you vote on something, and then like you would be able to like change one element of one thing in a show. You know, like you can say, you know, team A or team B and who's gonna win, and then at the end, you know, a big screen will show some like animation or like a banner, and it'll be like team A wins, and you're like, hell yeah. But like, no, and I say no, I'm generalizing, but I believe, it is my firm belief, that most people who do this like art stuff or performance stuff would allow their performance to be affected in a way that is so fundamental that everything they do has to be improvised, and not all of it will be rehearsed and good by rehearsed standards, right? I think, like, in a way, it's one of those, like, people taking themselves too seriously kind of things. But with this, you'll be able to do that. The whole idea is that we're fighting against the robots. We're fighting against the agents of chaos. We're fighting against the social media, etc., that makes everybody confused and emotional and emotionally confused. And we're fighting against chaos. And so, to demonstrate chaos and the effects of chaos, and perhaps to win at the end and overcome it, what better way than to have you, who it's like, I don't know, if you're paying me $10 or whatever to, like, show up to a thing, and I'm, like, putting on all this bullshit, then, like, I hope that, like, I'm doing something that you're like, yeah, that was a good time, and, like, I'm, like, it was worth it for me to spend that money that I earned to do that. And I can't, and I would never try to guarantee something that looks like some commercial act or whatever, and that's not what I mean. But, like, I'm not going to half-ass it either. And, like, I am not so important in all of this. I don't know if that makes any sense. But it's like, you're the one that's paying money. And you're the one that's coming to a thing, who's leaving your house to show up somewhere. You're the one who's sitting right now on your phone or whatever, and you're watching this. You're the one that it's about. And so whatever this grand spectacle this is, of, like, the exalted performer up on the grand stage for you, the mere plebeian, to enjoy, is, like, I don't know what that's about in a way. Like, it's not, it's like, this isn't about me, man, and so, like, all this stuff is designed with, like, that kind of thing in mind, where it's like, it's not about me making me look cooler or whatever. It's like trying to think like what kinds of things would, like, if somebody showed up to the thing, which element of the things that I'm interested in would they also possibly be interested in, and think, like, instead of how can I slap something together and, like, half-ass it, and then these idiots will show up anyway, or some kind of thing. Or, like, if I get if I can sell crap to more people, but it's crap so I can make money in volume, like, I don't have any interest in that. So my progress in some of these projects is kind of slow, but it's because I'm trying to do the best job possible. I'm trying to make something that people will be actually interested in. And what that all wraps into is when you're able to control the music, like I said, there's like a 20-30 second delay between when I do something and when you see it. Felix W says, looking forward to your next show. Always great music and performance. Thanks, man. Yeah, my last show was inside of a place, so I wheeled this all in. I did record it with the 360 camera sitting here, but and then I recorded it on my mixer so I'd have a good audio recording. And then when I was all done, I flipped the power and I didn't hit stop on the mixer first, and so I'm pretty sure that the entire thing's gone. And I thought I had a really good performance last night. this particular crowd was less engaged than the last time I was there. It was a different crowd of people. But I had a couple people come up and they were really interested, and I thought that was cool. But my performance itself, the way I felt about how I did, I felt a lot better about it than the last time I was there. So that's something. And then now it's gone. But so what I was saying was, so when you're able to do things like controlling music, what's going to end up happening when I'm building, if you're on Discord, you know this because I've posted about it, but like this is all eventually going to be like web-based, and on your phone it'll look like an app. It won't be something you download, but it'll look like a nicely designed mobile friendly page, and it'll be live, and there won't be the 20 or 30 second delay. Like the feedback will be near instantaneous. So you'll actually like be able to do it hyper live, and you won't have to be on things like YouTube and stuff to experience that. And that's eventually going to be like an insiders only kind of thing. You know, like if there's a membership portal or some other kind of thing, like that'll be it, and it'll be nothing expensive. But what I'm saying is, you'll be able to get that, because then I'll be able to actually give you something that's like actually valuable. You know, it's like you can spend tokens and jump the line, or you can like take over a thing and blah blah blah. And that's all fun for like Twitch and everything. But like if you're an insider, if I'm gonna offer like YouTube membership, like I don't have a bunch of behind the scenes videos and stuff to give you. So what instead I can give you that's actually valuable is like the ability to experience this without any of the delay of YouTube and stuff. And so you'll be able to do all of the same things that everybody can do on Twitch and YouTube, except it'll all happen in real time, or as near real time as possible. So it'll actually be live, and that sort of thing. Having the web server and stuff to accommodate people actually streaming from me and not through YouTube, not through some other mechanism, and you know, you having a live audio feed into this and all that costs me money, which is fine. And so that's why there would be a membership thing. You know, it's not about me making a bunch of money. It's just like it's a better thing. But because we're not using the advertising machine of YouTube, then you know, I'm gonna foot most of the bill. But you know, like I said, I'll have the tip jar out. Just lost a screw. It is so crazy how in a space like nothing can go anywhere. Like, is that it? Some other kind of thing like part of a rivet. How in this space where nothing can disappear, how can you drop something and it's gone? Like, I'm gonna, ooh, it's live on camera so you can see it. It's like Twilight Zone Mandela effect. Like the man dropped a screw and then it went into another dimension. So I'm gonna shake this out. It's not there. I'm gonna place it over here well outside the area. It's not somehow trapped on a wire or something. Move this outside of the area. This. No, okay. Not in here. This is all open. There's some dirt in here. So where? There's a different screw. Where could it have possibly gone? This is... All right. You saw it live on camera. A guy drops a screw. It goes into that space where there's nothing, and it disappeared forever. So, I think the only solution to this that makes any sense is to drop another screw. See where it goes. The first one was a scout and we lost it, so the second one's going to be a probe. Trying to find our lost screw scout. I should stop yakking so I get more stuff done. Sure this is right. Nope, one of them's upside down. This one is upside down. Okay. That's how you're going to be about it. All right. I'm going to move that other one down a little bit because I think that one ran into some no. So what was the issue? Huh. All right. Nice. See how quickly you get stuff done if you just shut up for a minute? Who's still with me? YouTube says 2 people right now. And I assume one of them is me. So is it Felix? Is it Michael Mary? Who's here? I put my microphone on like the least you could do is talk to me. What do we got here? Felix W says he's still here. Oh, Michael Murray says he's here too. Okay, well, so YouTube lies to me. Maybe there's 2,000 people watching. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Like, the watch time metric on YouTube is like important for its thing, and it's actually what's keeping me back from being able to do the super chat stuff. So it helps even if like the radio's on and like you guys are just listening to it just like blab in the background. It all helps. So I really appreciate it. I don't want to just like blab because it actually wears me out. But if you guys have questions about anything or whatever, when I look over at the chat thing and see it, I'll answer it. Oh yeah, so last night I was rolling this out of the place, and they have these like paver stones all stacked up with the plants inside, and it rolls and goes crunch right through one of the TV screens here. So that's toast. I'm like, I got other problems right now. But oh yeah, I'm going to the festival, and it's my main TV that's out in the front, so it's like the one everybody sees. So, so I get to replace that. That was just kind of funny. I just saw it and I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, since you guys are actually watching, I'm gonna move the camera down and like see if you can see it. Here, hold on. Let me look at OBS. It's a 360 camera, so it always I never know where it's actually aimed. Let's see. It's too dark to see. Okay, hold on one second. The camera, it's a 360 camera, so it does its own like straightening and leveling out weirdness. So I gotta, even though I'm turning it, it isn't rotating on the screen. It's hard to explain, but there we go. You see that? So that's toast. Yeah. If I rotate the camera around, it doesn't necessarily move because it's a action camera, so it like smartly doesn't like jostle all around, you know? Okay. Anyway. Smash the TV. Oh, here's something else too you might be interested in. So I 3D printed this, and there's there's a hole in the back you can see, maybe. Right here. It's where the, or I plug the antennas in on the outside. There you go, this guy right here. So it's real bright, so it looks like a light or something, but this is a hole in the side of the trailer. And it's a little loose. That's 3D printed PLA. And so I think it's shrunk a little bit in the sun, which that doesn't matter. Because I'm going to caulk it in, but right now it's just been pressure fit in there. But this is the new version of that, and now it's marked. The last one didn't have a hole for the Starlink to come in, but it's got H for HF, V for VHF, so that's where the antennas plug in. And the biggest issue I was running into was that these SO239 plugs have a little nut basically that screws on it to like sandwich it against another one on the other side to squeeze it against a panel, which is what this is, you know, or you know, a cabinet or a radio or something. It's got these two nuts that you screw together. And the problem is, it was like you start screwing on this way and the whole thing would start rotating, and on the inside it would do the same thing. And I built a tool, you know, this is 3D printed, right? So like I 3D printed this long socket basically that can go in there and tighten it. Well, the problem is I tighten it, but then the whole thing would just rotate if it was too loose. And I obviously can't be on the inside and the outside of the trailer at the same time. So it would have to be something like I would have to disconnect the radios, disconnect the antennas on the inside, take it, you know, take it out, tighten it up. So it's this whole pain in the butt. And so what I realized is it's not a good idea for both nuts to be able to rotate freely. And so in this version, I think if I hold it at an angle, you can see that. Let me get the light again. Oh, I can get close. So you can see the 3D camera distorts it, but you can see the nut around it, right? But the difference is in this version of it, those nuts are flush. That's funny distortion. But see, they're flush. They're actually down inside the plastic a little bit. And so what happens now is if I turn this from the inside, and I have it marked, I labeled it on the outside, and then I was like, what if I forget which one's which on the inside? So I just wrote in there, but man, it is hard to see. Let's see. Let's get real close. So the nuts on there are, you can freely turn those because they're not embedded into the plastic. So the tool will do that, and I can tighten that from the inside. And then on this side, they're flush. They're down into the plastic there. This is hard to do all these at once. Man, these 360 cameras are so weird. Okay. Yeah, see, it's flat with the plastic right here. This part you can see it, right where my finger is. And so that provides the counter force so I can tighten it. And now these mothers are on here nice and tight. So as the plastic like warps a little bit, because PLA kind of warps it and deforms a little bit in heat, and this sits out in the sun, so as that happens, I'll be able to disconnect the antennas real quick from the inside and just give it a little crank and like make it a little tighter. And so one of my tasks is install that. One of my other tasks is, since I mounted the television over there instead of on the wall, this cable that feeds the speakers from the radio isn't long enough, so I ordered another cable. And then eventually I'll put the antennas back up and there'll be some radio stuff. I actually wasn't going to have the stream up until Monday, but I thought, you know what, I'll put it up and maybe some people that want to watch me do the work and stuff, and again, that helps all the watch time and all that kind of stuff. That helps YouTube know to show me to other people. So anyway, that's why it's up. But in the future, what I'm planning for, and hopefully it'll happen by Monday, but with all the stuff that I mentioned earlier about the different platforms, what I'm hoping is starting on Monday is the live stream will start and it'll be simulcast to YouTube and Twitch. But that requires some stuff under the hood that I can't do while it's streaming. So that's why there's going to be some downtime with that. And that's why it was just going to be down for the weekend, but I started working on this, and I thought, oh, maybe some people want to hang out on a Saturday. Michael Mary, I don't think the YouTube commands will work, but let me try to run the script to activate it. We'll see if it'll work. So like I was talking about earlier with the YouTube API, it like burned through all my credits trying to get it all tested and working. And it currently works on Twitch, but it only, right now it's set to only work for me. Oh yeah, I know it's not running right now. I just don't think it'll work if I do run it. Let me see. Python chatbot.py monitoring. Felix says, I'm still here. Channel 1969. Police. Okay. Now, it looks like I got some more API times. Try it now. Let's cross our fingers. I'll reset the one I pay for too, the one that doesn't work all the time. Nope. YouTube's not working through that, so hopefully it's working through mine. Alright, Michael Myers said police. Huh. Yep, it's being dumb. But like I said, when it works on Twitch, man, it works. So give me time. Right here, what I'm putting up. If you weren't here earlier, if you didn't hear, I'm putting up another strip here. This one's gonna go here. It's gonna go up around the door where these Christmas tree lights are, and then back down and over here. And so when you type in the command, it'll control both of them at the same time. That's what I'm working on right now. And then all the Twitch stuff, like I said, my hope is that Sunday some portion of that will work, and the way it'll work is through Twitch chat. YouTube seems to be problematic, as we're seeing. It's unreliable for me. So, because you should be able to. I don't know what command it's waiting for, because it's seeing your chat. Let me look at it real quick.